Hi, welcome back to another video. My name is Ben, and I'm glad to have you along here as we do a new project. So this is my favorite time of year. It's October, and that means Halloween is coming up. We're probably not going to have a lot of trick-or-treaters this year because of all of the restrictions, but we decided that we wanted to do some awesome decorations out in front of our house so that people have something to enjoy throughout the Halloween season. In today's video, we're going to be making a packing tape ghost. The first thing we need to make a packing tape ghost is we need a model or a form that we can sculpt around. So I'd like to introduce you to Sally. This is Sally. She's a mannequin. You can see she's missing arms and a head, but the rest of her is there. I got this mannequin at an awesome place called Mannequin Madness. Some of the things I was thinking about when I was looking for the mannequin is I needed it to be in a relatively neutral pose, meaning that she's not doing anything fancy. Sally here is basically just standing straight. She's got a little bit of a twist, but not much. The only thing that we need now is we need her to have some arms. And they don't need to be beautiful arms because we're only using them as a form that we can wrap around. And so we're going to make those arms out of EVA foam. So I'll show you how we do that. So now we need to wrap Sally in packing tape, but we can't just cover her with tape because the tape will stick to her and then we'll never get it off. So the first thing we're going to do is cover her in a layer of plastic wrap. And the idea is that I want just a single layer around her. It's okay if it's crinkly. In fact, I kind of want it to be crinkly because that will kind of catch some light. It will look pretty neat. Since she's going to be wearing a ghostly dress, I don't need to wrap her legs, so I'm just going to stop at her hips. I'm going to go a little bit further with the plastic wrap though, just to be safe, but when I put the tape on, I'll just stop at her hips. One thing I found while wrapping her in plastic wrap is it was a lot easier to use a little bit smaller pieces at a time instead of just trying to wrap her up like a mummy. Now that she's covered in a layer of plastic wrap, we can safely cover her with the packing tape. Okay, Sally's been coated with a nice coat of packing tape. It's kind of 1.5 to 2 layers of tape, but I don't trust that it's strong enough yet to hold its own weight. So I'm going to do a few more coats of tape. But now what I'm going to do as I lay it down, especially in the bodice area, I'm hoping that if I lay the tape down as if it were part of a dress, that you will kind of get the impression that she's wearing a wedding dress. So you'll see that I'm going to lay the strips kind of going up like she might be wearing a corset, and I'll do a V down into here, and then there will be a skirt that we'll add on later. So I'm not sure how well the directionality of the tape is actually going to read to try to show that there's a dress. So another thing that I'm going to try to do is as I'm laying down pieces that are supposed to be part of the dress, I'm actually intentionally creasing the tape so that it makes some lines in it. So here along the collar, you can see, and it makes some directional lines as I do that. So I'm hoping that that will come across. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I think I've got enough coats of packing tape, so now I'm going to move on to the skirt. To make the skirt, I'm going to use just a roll of plastic that I bought from the hardware store. You can see it's not super transparent. It's translucent though. I think that might give a pretty cool effect. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep it rolled up. I'm going to keep it folded up and just unroll a little bit, and I'm going to cut kind of 2.5, 3 inch wide strips. That'll save me a lot of time cutting. And then we can take these strips, and when we unfold them, there's quite a bit to them. So now I can cut them into smaller strips if I want. I'm hoping that these strips will give a nice kind of flowing grass skirt kind of look. So I'll get taping those on and we'll see what it looks like. So now I'm going to tape on the strips. You can see I've already started to tape on a few here. I'm taping them right to the bottom of the little bodice line that I created with my tape. I've made no effort to try to make these all the same size. In fact, I'm hoping for some variety in the sizes. It'll just give more interest in the way that it flows and the way that it looks. It'll look a little more tattered. Okay, I've got the skirt now on her. You can see I've got some like 1 inch strips. I've got some 3 inch strips. There's some 2 inch strips. So there's a lot of variety in here. And I'm hoping that the wind will blow that around. Now is the time for the scary part. What we need to do is remove the ghost, remove the spirit from Sally's body. So what I'm going to do is with my scissors, I'm going to cut a seam right up the center of her back, all the way up her neck, even up to the back of her head like that, and try to just pull it off like clothing. I may have to do some seams just across the back to the arms to get them out, but I'm going to try to do it with as few seams as possible. Okay, the tape is free from Sally. Now it's time to reassemble her. So we're just going to tape back all of the seams that we cut. Taping it back together is a really slow process, so you just got to take your time, look carefully, and try to line up the tape. You can see the direction of the tape, so there are certain lines that you can connect up. So it's really important to just take your time, and we start off by putting small pieces of tape to just tack it all together. It'll increase its structure enough that you can then go through and put several coats of tape across the seam to make it nice and strong. Okay, she's all reassembled. One of the things I discovered as I was putting her back together is that there are a few places where the tape is just not as thick as I wish it was. The tape is kind of thin across the back of the neck, so I'm going to fix that. And generally, I'm just going to kind of go around and strengthen any of the places that are weak. But you can see that even as it is right now, she stands up on her own. So I think to help work with this, the next thing I want to do is actually build the stand for her. Once we have a stand, then I think it'll be a little bit easier to strengthen her. So let's get working on that. I've got about a 6.5 foot length of 3/4 inch PVC that I'm going to use as the stand. And what we'll do is we'll just stick this all the way in. I want to add some extra stability, so I'm going to put a T-joint right here and have it also go out to her shoulders. Okay, I'm jumping ahead quite a bit here, but I finished the stand. You can see here how it goes from shoulder to shoulder, up into her head, and all the way down. I painted it black. It shows up quite a bit during the day. I think if I were to do this again, I might just leave it white, but my intention was that it would be harder to see at night. So I made her stand by just nailing a long rebar into the ground and then putting the tube over top of it. You can see her skirt flows in the wind. And to top everything off, I just covered her with a few pieces of cheap cheesecloth that I cut so that it all flows nicely in the wind. As always, I've had a lot of fun doing this project, and it's been really fun having you here along with me. If you enjoyed this video, then hit the like button. It lets YouTube know that this is worth watching, and it lets them know they should recommend it to other people who might like this kind of video. I really appreciate it if you do that. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, make sure that you subscribe to my channel so you can catch any of my future videos when they come out. But until next time, don't be bored, be creative. I'll catch you later.